Kolkata, August 9th, 2024. Beneath the gray, oppressive sky of winter, this bustling city was suddenly engulfed in unspoken horror. Within the premises of Kolkata Welfare Hospital, a medical institution once the pride of the city, a heinous crime unfolded. Moumita Debnath, a 31-year-old female medical intern, was found dead in the records storage room, her body half-naked and covered in wounds that told a story of unimaginable brutality. The perpetrator, Sanjay Roy, a hospital janitor who had quietly worked in the shadows, became the focal point of rage and fear. The case not only shook Kolkata, but also ignited fury across India, where the issue of sexual violence remains an unhealed wound. Moumita Debnath, with her dreams of saving lives, became a symbol for countless innocent victims. Sanjay Roy, a seemingly harmless individual, revealed the face of a monster. How could someone like Sanjay commit such a ruthless act? What led Moumita to the scythe of fate? And why, in a place meant to be the safest, could darkness so completely swallow the light? This story will take you into the dark days of Kolkata, where the truth unravels layer by layer, like a horror novel no one wants to read but cannot look away from. Kolkata, the capital of West Bengal, is a city of contradictions. Its crowded streets, ancient temples, and vibrant markets blend with poverty and social inequality. In 2024, Kolkata remains a cultural and educational hub of India. But it is also a place where issues like gender-based violence and social injustice simmer beneath the surface. With a population exceeding 15 million, the city is a complex tapestry where grand dreams are often crushed by harsh realities. Kolkata Welfare Hospital, located in the northern part of the city, is one of the largest medical facilities in the region. Established in the 1950s, the hospital serves thousands of patients daily and is a training ground for young doctors. With its mix of aging buildings and modern facilities, the hospital symbolizes medical progress but also exposes systemic flaws. Interns like Moumita Debnath often work under immense pressure, enduring grueling shifts that stretch for dozens of hours. Meanwhile, support staff, like janitor Sanjay Roy, play crucial roles but are frequently overlooked. The class divide within the hospital, though unspoken, is an undeniable reality. Doctors, especially those like Moumita Debnath, are respected and seen as society's hope. In contrast, individuals like Sanjay, working at the lowest rung of the system, are nearly invisible. They toil in the shadows, cleaning empty corridors, while doctors are celebrated in the spotlight. This divide sowed seeds of resentment, and in Sanjay Roy's case, it became the spark that ignited a crime. Kolkata in 2024 was also a city in transition. Movements advocating for women's rights, spurred by cases like Nirbhaya in 2012, had made some progress. Yet, sexual violence remained a persistent issue. Women working night shifts, particularly in fields like healthcare, frequently faced risks of harassment or assault. Kolkata Welfare Hospital, despite having security personnel, lacked effective safety measures such as comprehensive CCTV coverage or strict access controls. These gaps, combined with a culture of silence surrounding harassment, created the conditions for a tragedy to unfold. Moumita Debnath was born into a middle-class family in Howrah, a suburb of Kolkata. Her father, Ramesh Debnath, was a retired bank employee, and her mother, Sunita Debnath, was a primary school teacher. From a young age, Moumita stood out for her intelligence and diligence. She would spend hours at her study desk, dreaming of one day wearing a white coat and saving thousands of lives. "I want to do something big," Moumita once told her mother when she was a 12-year-old girl. With her family's support, Moumita passed the grueling medical entrance exam to become a student at West Bengal Medical University. Her university years were far from easy. Moumita faced intense academic pressure, fierce competition, and gender-based prejudices in the medical field. But she never gave up. She graduated with distinction and began her internship at Kolkata Welfare Hospital in 2023. By 2024, at age 31, Moumita was on her way to becoming a specialist, a dream she had pursued for nearly 2 decades. But in the early months of 2024, Moumita began to feel the strain. A relentless schedule of shifts, complex surgeries, and a high-pressure work environment left her exhausted. She also heard rumors about the lack of safety in the hospital, especially in secluded areas at night. Moumita once confided in Priya that she felt watched while walking through dark corridors, but she dismissed her fears, believing the hospital was a safe place. "It's probably just my imagination," she said with a faint smile. Moumita's dedication inadvertently made her a target. She often worked late, resting in quiet, isolated spaces like the record storage room, as interns lacked designated rest areas. This habit, born of her commitment, placed Neha in a dangerous situation she could not have foreseen. While Moumita Debnath embodied light and hope, Sanjay Roy was the personification of darkness. Born in a slum in southern Kolkata, Sanjay grew up in poverty and violence. His father, Mohan Das, was an alcoholic who frequently beat his wife and children. His mother, Lakshmi Das, was a submissive woman who worked as a housemaid to support the family. Sanjay's childhood was filled with pain, marked by beatings and hungry nights. "No one cares about me," Sanjay often thought, sitting alone in a corner of the house, watching his parents argue. At 15, Sanjay dropped out of school to work, starting with odd jobs like selling newspapers or helping at shops. But life was unkind. He was often berated by employers and paid meager wages. At 25, Sanjay secured a job at Kolkata Welfare Hospital as a janitor. The work provided some financial stability, but it did nothing to ease his deep-seated resentment. Sanjay felt belittled by doctors and senior staff. He was often called names like the cleaner or lowly, which fueled his envy and anger. Sanjay led an isolated life. He had no close friends or family to confide in. His small rented room in a slum near the hospital was his escape from the world. There, Sanjay began abusing alcohol to numb reality. He also became addicted to violent pornography on his phone, a habit that worsened his distorted thoughts. These violent images gradually seeped into Sanjay's mind, leading him to fantasize about controlling and hurting others. Sanjay Roy was not a born killer, but the circumstances of his life slowly pushed him toward crime. His resentment toward society, feelings of being demeaned, and perverse desires combined to create a dangerous individual. Colleagues noticed Sanjay's strange behavior, such as staring at female doctors or loitering in secluded areas at night. Another janitor, Suresh Yadav, once joked that Sanjay looked like he was plotting something, but no one took it as a serious warning. In the weeks before the crime, Sanjay became fixated on Moumita Debnath. He often saw her walking through the corridors, exuding confidence and a radiant smile. To Sanjay, Moumita was not just a doctor, but a symbol of everything he desired but could never have: success, respect, and a meaningful life. This envy turned into obsession. Sanjay began stalking Moumita, memorizing her routines, from her work hours to the places she rested. He shared his intentions with no one, but a sinister plan was taking shape in his mind. In early August 2024, Moumita Debnath was in the most stressful phase of her internship. She was tasked with handling complex surgeries, and her shifts often stretched from afternoon to early morning. Despite her exhaustion, Moumita remained professional. She frequently rested in the record storage room, a small space filled with shelves of documents where she found peace and privacy. Moumita liked this room because it was far from the chaos of the emergency ward, allowing her to nap or read during brief breaks. Meanwhile, Sanjay Roy began to plan. He noticed Moumita was often alone late at night when the hospital grew quiet. As a janitor, Sanjay could move around without suspicion. He started tracking Moumita, noting her habits from when she ate dinner to when she left the emergency ward to rest. Sanjay shared his plan with no one, but his behavior grew more erratic. A colleague, Suresh Yadav, noticed Sanjay loitering near the storage room, but when questioned, he only smiled and said he was checking things. During these days, Sanjay became bolder. He deliberately worked near the emergency ward, where Moumita was often present. He watched her from a distance, noting how she spoke to patients and smiled with colleagues. Each time he saw Neha, Sanjay's envy surged. "Why does she have everything, and I have nothing?" he asked himself during sleepless nights in his rented room. These thoughts slowly morphed into a dark plan. On August 7th, Sanjay decided to act. He bought a cheap bottle of liquor from a nearby shop, intending to drink for courage. He also carried a small knife, which he kept in his pocket for self-defense. Sanjay had no intention of killing, but he was prepared to do whatever it took to achieve his goal. He began planning meticulously, from choosing the right moment to ensuring no one would notice. Sanjay knew the record storage room was ideal. It was in a secluded corner of the hospital, lacked CCTV coverage, and saw little foot traffic at night. On August 8th, Moumita had an especially long shift. She had been working continuously since 9 a.m. and was scheduled to leave the hospital the next morning. She was exhausted but pushed through her duties. Around 11 p.m., Moumita grabbed a quick dinner in the hospital canteen with Priya Sharma. The two chatted about work and future plans. "You need to rest more," Priya said, noticing Moumita's tired eyes. "I'm fine," Moumita smiled, but deep down, she just wanted to catch a brief nap. Around 1 a.m. on August 9th, Neha decided to rest in the record storage room. She brought a book and lay down on the familiar couch. Unbeknownst to her, Sanjay Roy was nearby, waiting for his opportunity. Sanjay had drunk nearly half a bottle of liquor, and in his mind, everything was set. At about 1:30 a.m., Sanjay Roy quietly walked through the corridor leading to the storage room. The hospital was nearly silent, with only the hum of machines and the distant footsteps of night shift staff. Sanjay wore his janitor uniform, holding a mop as an excuse to avoid suspicion. He had scouted the area earlier and knew no one was around. Sanjay's heart raced, but the alcohol dulled his fear. Moumita Debnath was lying on the couch in the storage room, eyes closed, her book fallen to the floor. She didn't hear the door creak open or notice Sanjay's shadow approaching. Sanjay stood there for a moment, watching Neha sleep. In that instant, he felt a mix of desire and rage. He wanted her, but at the same time, he wanted her to suffer as he had. Sanjay stepped closer, and his footsteps finally startled Neha. She opened her eyes, panic-stricken, to see Sanjay standing before her. "What are you doing here?" Moumita asked, her voice trembling. She tried to sit up, but Sanjay lunged, using his strength to pin her down. Moumita fought back fiercely, scratching and screaming. "Let me go!" she shouted, but the storage room was in a secluded corner, and her cries were swallowed by the thick walls. Moumita's resistance enraged Sanjay. He hadn't expected her to be so strong. In a fit of anger, Sanjay punched Moumita in the face, causing her to fall to the floor. Blood began to stream from her nose, but Moumita kept struggling. She clawed at Sanjay's face, leaving deep scratches. In pain and panic, Sanjay pulled out his small knife and threatened her. "Shut up or I'll kill you," he growled. Despite her fear, Moumita continued to fight. She tried to push Sanjay away and run toward the door, but he grabbed her hair and yanked her back. In a frenzy, Sanjay stabbed Moumita in the shoulder, causing her to scream in agony. Blood poured out, and Moumita weakened. She collapsed to the floor, trying to crawl away, but Sanjay had lost all reason. He pinned her down, committing a sexual assault while Moumita was nearly unconscious. But Sanjay realized Moumita was still alive, and he feared she would report him. In a panic, Sanjay strangled Moumita, using both hands to choke her tightly. Moumita struggled weakly, but within minutes, she stopped breathing. Sanjay sat there, panting, staring at Moumita's motionless body. He realized he had gone too far, but there was no turning back. After killing Moumita, Sanjay Roy fell into a state of panic. He knew he had to erase any evidence to avoid being caught. He dragged Moumita's body to a corner of the room, where a large filing cabinet obscured it. He wiped the blood from the floor with a cleaning rag, but in his haste, he missed several small bloodstains. The liquor bottle he had brought was left near the scene, a fatal mistake he didn't realize. Sanjay also tried to clean the knife and stuffed it back into his pocket. He left the storage room around 2:30 a.m., pretending to continue his cleaning duties in another area. When a security guard, Rahul Bose, passed by, Sanjay lowered his head and acted busy. Rahul didn't suspect anything, as Sanjay often worked at that hour. In Sanjay's mind, fear and guilt began to surface. He knew Moumita's body would soon be discovered, and he needed a plan to avoid blame. He decided to act oblivious, claiming he was working in another area during the crime if questioned. But the scratches on Sanjay's face, caused by Moumita's resistance, were undeniable evidence. On the morning of August 9th around 6 a.m., another janitor, Ravi Kumar, entered the storage room to retrieve documents for a doctor. He immediately spotted Moumita Debnath's motionless body in the corner. Panicked, Ravi screamed and ran to alert the manager. The news spread rapidly through the hospital, and a crowd of doctors, nurses, and staff gathered around the scene. Priya Sharma, Moumita's close friend, was among the first to arrive. Upon seeing Moumita's body, Priya collapsed, unable to believe her eyes. "No, it can't be Moumita!" she screamed, tears streaming down her face. Sanjay Roy, another intern, tried to comfort Priya, but she herself was trembling at the horrific sight. The Kolkata police were called immediately. The investigation team, led by Inspector Vikram Singh, sealed off the scene and began collecting evidence. The traces at the scene, blood, fingerprints on the liquor bottle found nearby, became crucial clues. Moumita's body was sent for an autopsy, which confirmed she had been sexually assaulted, stabbed in the shoulder, and strangled to death. The case quickly drew media attention, and Moumita Debnath's image appeared across newspapers, becoming a symbol of women's vulnerability in an unjust society. Under Inspector Vikram Singh's direction, the Kolkata police swiftly identified Sanjay Roy as the prime suspect. Fingerprints on the liquor bottle and on Moumita's body matched Sanjay's, and security footage from a corridor near the storage room captured him passing through the area at the time of the crime. The scratches on Sanjay's face, confirmed to be caused by Moumita during her resistance, were irrefutable evidence. When interrogated, Sanjay initially denied the crime, claiming he was working in another area at the time. But under the weight of the evidence, he eventually confessed. Sanjay's statement was shocking. He described his jealousy toward Moumita and how he felt she looked down on him, though there was no evidence Moumita had ever treated him poorly. Sanjay claimed he hadn't intended to kill Moumita, but her resistance drove him to lose control. "I just wanted her to be quiet," he said, his voice trembling. Sanjay Roy was arrested and brought to trial on charges of rape and murder. The trial garnered significant public attention, with lawyers debating Sanjay's motives and mental state. The prosecutor, Meera Kapoor, argued that Sanjay was a danger to society and deserved the death penalty. Meanwhile, the defense lawyer, Arjun Malhotra, attempted to portray Sanjay as a victim of circumstance, pushed into crime by society. The case dragged on for months until Monday, January 20th, 2025, when the Sealda court in Kolkata sentenced Sanjay Roy to life imprisonment for the crimes of rape resulting in death and murder. The case of Moumita Debnath sparked a wave of protests across India. Thousands of people, from students to activists, took to the streets in Kolkata, demanding justice for Neha and reforms to protect women. Doctors at Kolkata Welfare Hospital went on strike, calling for enhanced security and stricter measures against harassment. Priya Sharma, Moumita's close friend, became a leading voice in the movement, using social media to amplify Moumita's story. Indian media dubbed the case a wake-up call for society. Articles analyzed how gender inequality and lack of safety led to the tragedy. Moumita Debnath's name became a symbol of the fight against sexual violence, while Sanjay Roy was seen as an embodiment of moral decay. Some newspapers, like the Times of India, called for comprehensive reforms in the healthcare system, from installing CCTV cameras to training staff on gender sensitivity. Moumita's family, particularly her parents, Ramesh Debnath and Sunita Debnath, were devastated by the loss. In an interview, Sunita said with a choked voice, "She was our light." Why Moumita? Ramesh, a reserved man, vowed to fight to ensure no one else would suffer like his daughter. The family established a charitable fund in Moumita's name to support female students pursuing medical careers. The case also raised questions about the accountability of institutions like Kolkata Welfare Hospital. Dr. Sanjay Bose, the hospital director, faced criticism for failing to address prior harassment complaints. He resigned months after the case, and the hospital implemented reforms, including forming a committee to handle security complaints. From Kolkata to New Delhi, Moumita's story inspired millions to stand against injustice. In the shadow of tragedy, a glimmer of hope persisted, fueled by people like Moumita who lived and died for their dreams. In a society rife with inequality, this case served as a warning that change cannot come through laws alone, but requires a shift in the hearts and minds of individuals. Moumita Debnath was not just a victim, but a flame that lit the path for those continuing the fight. And in the dark days of Kolkata, her legacy endures, a reminder that light can always triumph over darkness.